What's going on, people? What's going on Tuesday night, 9:30? It's the Let Me Know show. And tonight we got Mr. Chip Forsyth himself from Regius Sphera Pythons. You might notice him from the King of the Mountain announcer. You know, pretty popular guy over here.
You were a King of the Mountain winner.
Yeah, well, that's only one winner. I mean, you have 12 episodes. How's that going on?
It's going great. I ran a whole year, and that was my goal, was to promise everybody that I would do it for a whole year. And now I'm getting ready to start my second year.
Nice.
And the biggest problems I had, which I don't know if you want to get into this right in a second, but I mean,
sure, go ahead. We have no agenda here.
All right. Well, just finding people that wanted to do it. And the crazy thing was that if you won the King of the Mountain, for those who don't know, you won $100. Okay,
$100. I got $100.
Right,
I sure did.
And some people were like, "Well, what's the scam?" They didn't want to have anything to do with it. And it took a while to get people to finally start coming on. And there's a lot of good people that I wanted to get to participate. A prime example, were big names, but I did not want to put them on unless I had somebody big to go up against them, because I didn't want them to get squashed. I don't want some young new lady or guy who's new to the thing who may have a beautiful snake, but they end up getting crushed because of JKR or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I ain't scared. Put me up against them. I'll get all my kids and all their friends and all their friends' cousins, mothers, brothers, and uncles. I mean, I'll get them all out. I mean, I don't care. They're coming.
You blew my mind when you first when I first talked to you about being an entry. You actually sent me your picture, and I was like, "Yeah, that looks cool. Hey, just kind of detail it up a little bit, and I would love to have you on." And I really didn't know how well you were going to do, and you blew the freaking water up, man. I was like, I told my wife, I was like, I don't know who this guy is, but he's like tearing it up. And
you just got to go out there and push a little, and that's all I did. And I mean, of course I told my kids, and then I went out there and talked about it. Hey, go vote for me. Hey, go vote for me. Hey, go vote for me. And the community voted, and my friends voted, my kids' friends voted. It just all came together.
Right. And that's what counts, man. Sometimes people feel odd about asking for a vote. Who gives a crap, man? I mean, I don't care if you ask every day. That's the whole point of winning. But there's people that we've had as competitors, and I'm not knocking them, don't get me wrong, because I love everybody we've had, but there's some people that will not push it at all. If you don't want to vote for them, then that's cool.
All right.
But I like people like you that don't give a crap, and they just get out there and say, vote, 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 vote.
Let's go. Vote it all up.
Right.
Let's go through and give some shout outs. Stan, always first, buddy. Well, majority of the time. We like you here. Stan's a good dude. Senator G. Morse, Dave, that dude there, he's a hell of a guy. I like him. John, no H, Inquiline, what's up?
Inquiline.
Bosa, how's it going, Bosa? Thanks for coming in.
Awesome dude.
Yeah, Bosa's cool. Moose Almighty, thanks for coming in. How you doing? Michaela, always welcome. How you doing? Lexi, that's my daughter. Thank you. Thank you for coming in. I love you, Lex. Gold Coast Exotics, what up? Thanks for coming in. And there's Will. Yeah, there's another winner from King of the Mountain, Will's Hella Heat. What's up, Will? Thanks for coming in. Justin, hey, buddy. What's up? My Animal House. Blakers, how's it going? Chris from BNS. And now we're caught up. So, all right. Well, how I usually do this is I usually do some research on some work market news, and then I do some community stuff. And then when I brought it to you, you was just like, I really don't pay attention to all that. So I decided to switch it up on you a little bit. I did want to mention that Morph Market is having $1,000 giveaway. If you go sign up for their Herp Social thing going on, it's called Cold Blood, coldblood.com. If you go sign up and create an account, I guess they're picking a winner, for $1,000 of Morph Market credit. So, I mean, go sign up for Cold Blood. get entered in. But what I wanted to kind of talk about is just that you're king of the mountain, and we kind of got into that a little bit. But yeah. So let me see. But I wanted to touch base on that a little bit, though. We was talking about.
I'll talk about this one other thing real quick. You know,
Go
I'm getting to
ahead.
start season 2, and the biggest issues that I run into, which I may have already mentioned, but is just getting people to participate.
Right.
And so I still run across this wall of doubt. They don't understand why I'm wanting to give them $100. And what I get out of this, you know, I'm not doing this for free. I get subscribers. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And the difference is that YouTube, and I'm not knocking YouTube. Obviously, that's what I'm trying to get subscribers on. But YouTube was like, hey, if you give us a budget of $100 a month, we'll spread your name out there. Well, that goes to every Tom, Dick, and Harry. But I was like, why don't I just give $100 to people who want to come to the channel and let them win? That was my whole thought process on it. And literally from the day I started, I think at the time I had like 230 subscribers. And in that course of the year, I gained like about 650. Now, that's not a great amount, because there's people that have been younger than me, or as far as time, who've surpassed me already.
Right.
And again, I think YouTube's not where my bread and butter is, and I'm sure it's not yours either. I just want to get my face out there and the product, you know, that kind of thing.
That's all it is for me. When I jumped in this, it was kind of like, if I just sit back here in the chat, I don't think I'm going to make enough of an impression to get myself out there. So that's kind of why I started doing this live, just to simply get my face out there. And Bold Coast, to answer your question, I messed around with it for about a half hour, 45 minutes today, and I kind of like it. I mean, but I also subscribe to Herp Social, the mutation creation thing, and it's cool too. I think they're both great. I think they're both a way, just like YouTube. It's free advertisement to go on there, and a free way to post. To sell your snakes. I mean, they're giving you a free platform to do it. I say take advantage of all of it. Greenline, what's up, dude? Thanks for coming in. Paul's here. What's up, Paul? But yeah, so how did you got into and said that you came up with the ideal because you was going to pay for YouTube, and instead of paying YouTube to do it, you figured you would pay
people who
the subscribers.
Yeah. So those who had a passion for it. And like I said, that's worked out really well.
That's smart.
I feel like it has. And not to mention, it helped me network who I am, but it helps me network with people like you, so that whenever we're out in public, instead of you bad mouthing me like you always do, you're going to start talking good about me. I'm just playing. But you see my point. It just get a good camaraderie with all the people out there. Everybody I've met so far has been super good. I mean, I've not met anyone who's given me any issues or problems or anything like that.
Well, you're such a critic. You don't like nothing at first. It's new. Give them time.
Right. There you go.
But so you said you was starting season 2. When's that coming out?
That's going to start not next Wednesday, but the following Wednesday. I'm not sure what date that is, but but yeah. I've got some good people coming up, willing to participate, and so yeah, I'm excited. I'm definitely excited.
Heck yeah, sounds good. Well, all right. We're about 10 minutes into it, so it's not too early to start the questions. That's how long it usually takes. So, just give everyone who you are and how long you've been doing this.
All right. Well, obviously, some of you may not know this story, but how I got started in this was my daughter spent the night at her friend's house, and her friend had a ball python, and she came back to me, and at the time she was 8, and said, I want a ball python. And I was like, look, we'll get you a rabbit. We're not getting you a snake. Well, and I was telling Ken earlier that I'm 55, and when I was a kid, ball pythons, they were just blah.
Brown.
I mean, there was nothing about them. Right. Period. Everybody wanted a boa constrictor, and I had a boa constrictor as a kid. And as an adult, anybody that has kids, you're going to be the one most likely taking care of that animal. So I actually started looking up ball pythons, and I was blown away.
Blown
I mean,
away, right?
completely blown away.
I get it.
Just of all the different colors and the varieties that were out there. And I thought, man, well, in the meantime, I actually bought her the rabbit, but I thought, I'm going to get me one of these ball pythons. Well, I ended up buying one. And once I got the hang of it, bam, it was on. And I started in 2018. And I'm not knocking anybody by what I'm getting ready to say, but I did. And I'm all for a go-getter. But what I did was I bought everything from babies and raised them up.
That's what I did.
Yeah, and my last year was the first year I've had clutches, and every one of them were snakes that I raised, period. And I had 8 clutches last year, and I bred 9, 8 came through, and it just like me and you were talking earlier, it was like Christmas Day when I did my first egg cutting. And I'm telling you, for those who've never done it before, if there's anybody watching,
get ready.
Yeah, it is so wonderful and life changing. I know that sounds crazy, but it just was. And you wanted to take care of them like they were your babies. I mean, that's how it was. And not to mention, I was telling you earlier that I was able to sell 90% of them. I still have 5 left. But my point is that I sold over $14,000 worth in the very first year. And it just shocked me. I was able to go to Chicago. I was able to do stuff around the house. You know what I'm saying? It just afforded me to do a lot of things, plus invest back into my animals, and that's what I did.
No problem, Moose. You got it. As much as you support, I'll name one of my babies Moose.
There you go.
But yeah, so like if you don't know, I've finally got my first clutch, and just to give you my experience with it, like it was from a female that I wasn't expecting. I thought this female reabsorbed. Like if you would have like gave me a list and said, how do you think these snakes are going to lay? She would have definitely been like on the bottom. I just thought she was done this year. I wasn't pairing her. I was giving her time to just get back on food, which she wasn't eating. And then I opened that drawer and she looked like a high rise. And like, it was just all over from there. Oh my God, I got eggs. I woke my daughter up. She was like, Dad, what are you doing? I'm like, come help me. I need help. And she didn't even help me. She stood there and watched me. Right, you know what I mean? Right. I guess I needed an audience or something. And she went back to bed and I pulled him.
How old is your daughter?
She's 20.
Okay. See, mine's only 13.
Oh, all right. She's 21. Never mind. She just corrected me. 21. Yeah.
Well, so, I was the same way too. I was like, I kept telling my daughter, you come down here and help me and let's do this together. And I don't know what it is, man. She doesn't mind holding them, but the feeding, that's the biggest thing with her. She does not like feeding them at all. And I get that, that's something for probably a big stepping stone people have to get over, or hurdle rather.
All right. Dragos and Don, thanks for coming in. They stopped in while we was conversating. What's up, Kara? How's it going? But yeah, it was just a really good feeling. And like, just if you don't know, like Mercedes got me into it too. Like she come to me, and that's kind of what, like, I don't know. I didn't have a problem getting my females to size. I got them to size in a year. I bought them as a baby, like 200-300 grams, and I fed them once a week, and they ate. And they're over 1,000 grams in breeding. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I mean, right. It just happened that quick. People say teach patience, but I don't know. It just happened.
Yeah.
Lakers can't remember if I said what's up, but what's up? Yeah, it's exciting. I'm getting way off track by, calm down. Wolfman, what's up, dude? Yeah, but that's how exciting it is. Like, you start talking about it still, like it's been 2 days and I'm just like still all over the place with it. Like, I can't believe oh my God. Great. Yeah. There's just people strolling in. Thank you all for coming in. Fungus Queen, Wolfman, E. Thank you. All right, so on to the next question. What's a normal day like for you? What's your 9 to 5?
Well, I usually get up at 6 and I come down here and look at my snakes, make sure everybody's okay. and I work for myself, which is a blessing. I mean, it affords me the ability to come home if I need to, and I do like home inspection repairs, stuff like that for homes that are selling.
Right.
And usually when I get home in the afternoon, I'm back down here again, checking on the snakes. I'm real good about pulling out the snakes, and actually I'll watch a movie with them, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, just hanging around with them. And all of my snakes, except the babies, are, I trust every one of them as far as not wanting to bite you. Um, but yeah, it's just a typical day, like I would imagine most everybody else out there. But yeah, that's pretty much about it.
I can't wait, because if it never gets old, this is going to be great.
Yeah, somebody told me that too, that it never gets old. And I believe it, man.
You got to
All
play
8 times I was able to cut clutches last year, and every time it was like, what am I going to get? What am I going to get?
Right. I don't even want to think about that now. They've been in the incubator for 2 days. I've opened the door 1 time a day to check the temperature, so I'm doing a responsible thing. Like that, I'm doing all right. Like, trying not to freak out over that.
Right.
All right. So, do you have a mentor or someone you looked up into this?
Gosh, I can't pinpoint anyone. I definitely have talked to Chris a lot last year when I was learning my stuff and trying to figure out what was what. Phil Snyder, that was another one that I spoke to a lot.
Phil's a
And
good dude.
yeah, and both of them, were really kind in their responses. You don't want to feel like an idiot when you ask them questions about stuff. And to be honest with you, Chris helped me out tremendously in one respect. I had actually ran out of plastic straws to separate my eggs,
Right.
and I saw these bamboo skewers, and I thought, well, I know that they resist moisture, this, that, and the other, so I stuck them in there. And he said, you better check that, because they may resist it, but they're going to certainly produce mold. And sure as crap, man, I looked in there and it was like Mold City. I pulled them out, and that,
I gotta go get plastic straws. I got wooden chopsticks. That's all I found. So I gotta go get
are
plastic
you
straws
serious?
tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah, you better change that, buddy, because I'm telling you,
I'm getting some straws tomorrow.
within 5 days, it looked like the freaking jungle, man. It was so bad. It was, definitely do that.
That's okay, Moose. Thanks for coming in. It's awesome. Ryan Beamer, thanks for stopping by. All right, next question. What is your short-term goal for the ball pythons?
I really want to bone up on my breeding, and what I mean by that is, I had asked you earlier, did you have a ultrasound? I don't have one, so I'm still learning.
I have access to one.
Yeah, I don't have access to anything. So I mean, I don't want to blow $1,400 on a freaking machine, but if I have to, I will. And I just think about all the old timers that have been out there who've been breeding all these years without them, and I just need to learn my intuitiveness and how to look at them and figure out whether they're ovulating or they're building or they're the different signs. And this is only my 2nd year of producing, so I'm gonna cut myself some slack. But my short-term goal is to learn visual signs of what I'm looking for.
Yes, that would be very helpful, because like I said, if I would have put these snakes in an order of how they're going to go, the one that went would have been dead last. Like I said, I thought she was just done for the year. There was no way she was going. Totally blew my mind.
Right.
She went to Butters, the one I traded. So the pairing was an Xanthic het lav to a lav het Xanthic. So they could be double visuals here. And I mean, they're not that good of a snake, but for year 1 hitting a double visual, that'd be an accomplishment.
That would be crazy good. Yeah.
All right. What is a long-term goal? Like, say 10 years?
Well, in 10 years, my goal is to be retired, and this is all I do.
All right.
And like I said, I'm 55, so I'll be 65 in 10 years.
That's what's up, man.
But yeah, I would like to be able to travel the circuit, so to speak, go to, Tinley and the other and Florida, all these places, like say 4 trips a year. And I would love to vend. I think that would be fun. Where I'm at, which is kind of a rural area. I'm like about 20 miles north of Wilmington, North
Look what
Carolina.
my daughter just found. I couldn't find them the other day. She
Oh
just
yeah,
threw them to me.
get
After
it
the
done,
show,
man.
guess what I'm doing?
Yeah. But yeah, I would like to be doing this full time and just traveling the circuit, so to speak, and just meeting other people out there. That's what I would like to do.
Tell you what, was that 2 weekends ago? Yeah, 2 weekends ago, it was my first barbecue breeder picnic thing out Warfels.
Yep.
And I mean, I'm pretty shy at first. Like, I'll warm up guys. I was a little quiet, didn't talk to too many people, but that's just me. I'm a little quiet at first. Once I warm up to everybody, like, I'll be an idiot. Trust me. One day you will say I'm an idiot. But Chris from BNS, like, that dude is as cool as he seems. Like, meet him in person. He's just a really cool, laid back, down to earth person. Like, I really like Chris from BNS. And Phil, you mentioned Phil. Like, those are two people that I hung out with a lot that day, and Kent. But I mean, me and Kent kind of friends too. So
Yeah, I like him too. But he's kind of like in our realm as being new. I think, isn't that correct?
What's that?
I think Kent's kind of new at this too, right?
He has experience, but I think he's like newer to breeding. Like
that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, one thing I liked about Chris from BNS was he's so approachable, and I've never met him before, but I mean,
Yeah, right.
Struck me as being approachable, as well as Phil. And I would actually, out of the blue, he would send me a message like, "Hey, how's everything going?" Which I thought was really cool. And I don't know, he just felt personal about it.
Right. Yeah, like Chris was definitely, when I approached Chris, it was like I approached him 100 times. Like, just he's easily approachable and a real cool dude. Like, thumbs up to Chris from BNS for real.
For sure.
Okay, so we get into some of the funner questions now. If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
I'd like the ability to, at my choosing, to become invisible.
Yes, like that is kind of what I've said a couple times. And you could just do so much. You want to go somewhere, just turn invisible, go walk on the flight. Sit in the bathroom with the thing, thing switched.
Right.
I mean,
that's what I was thinking, because I was like, well, somebody might say, well, what about flying? Hell, I can fly anytime I want. Just get on the plane and just go to wherever it is I'm going. But
yeah, go get in the bathroom and lock the door. They can't get in.
Exactly.
I think that's the way to go. I mean, if you want to even be criminal about it, you could go walk invisible into the bank, go into the vault, put it under your coat. It's on you. It's invisible. And if there was floating money, what would they do anyways?
Yeah, here's what I'd do. See, I would rob like drug dealers. I'm talking about the cash. That way I'm not taking from the bank. I'm just going out there. They ain't going to miss it. You know what I'm saying?
They ain't going to even see you. Like, they're going to think they're on that stuff, thinking that the money floats and stuff. They're going to go tell their friends that their money just flies right out the window and stuff. And
that's right.
I mean, that's I'd have to agree with you. Yeah, superpower would be invisible. I mean, there's so many advantages to being invisible.
Right.
Right. If you could spend a week anywhere in the world, where would it be?
Well, I love Mexico. I've been there like twice, and I love it down there. But I guess I would have to probably say I love history, so it'd probably be somewhere like England. I think that'd be cool. I know that may not sound exotic, but that's kind of where I'd like to go see that.
I'd like to go to like Scotland, someplace like that, like where they have all the old castles and stuff, like that area of England. I guess it is England, but and plus I have like Scot-Irish roots,
right?
So maybe I could go find an ancestral castle or something that my family owned or something. I don't know. All right, what is something this hobby has brought to you that you didn't expect in the beginning?
I would definitely say that I did not realize I was going to be so overwhelmed when I cut my first clutch. And again, I've got a daughter, and I know what it's like having a baby and all this, but I'm telling you, when you selected these ingredients and you put them together, and this is what I didn't produce it, but you know what I'm saying? I caused this to happen. That's amazing. And I mentioned it before, when you see my very first cutting video, I could have cried. I mean, it was like, holy smokes, I can't believe how this is,
right.
That I helped to bring this together. And it happened each time, 8 times last year. And I can't wait for it to happen again this year. So that's something I was not expecting. And I was also shocked. People kept saying, "Oh, don't worry about them. They'll sell. They'll sell." And that scary thought in the back of my mind.
right.
Like, I don't see how this is going to happen. And sure enough, man, you know, it did. They sold, and I'm very thankful for that.
All right. Jeff and Angie came in. Celtic Boss. Thanks for coming in. I've met them down at Warful's party. They're awesome people as well. They're every bit as fun as they seem online.
Yep. Very nice people. Very nice people.
Nick, what's up? That's my dude, Nick. 666 Serpents. He just popped in. Yeah, you could be late. It's all right. We'll forgive you. All right. What is one project you'd like to add to your collection?
I just bought some hets recently for Desert Ghost. I know that's late in the game, but right now my biggest focus is, and I know some people are going to poo-poo this idea, but I just love pies and I love clowns.
All right.
And you want to have stuff that's going to sell. I mean, this is the thing. It may not be what everybody's cup of tea is, but I wanted to produce. I love clowns and pies, but I'm also, like I said, starting late to the game. But I bought some hets for Desert Ghost, so that's my next thing I'm trying to get into the game.
Yeah, I'm not staying away from DG. Like the whole testing thing kind of made me think about it a little bit, but I kind of want to pick up a couple more just to have them. If they're going to start selling cheaper, I'm going to pick up a couple more for sure.
Right. That way, see, luckily I only got hits, so it's not like I put a ton of money into it. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I got a pretty decent deal, like really good deal going on that if things go right, I'll be picking it up. But it's a Desert Ghost female visual that's het for Cryptic, and I think she's pastel and possible Harley Quinn, which I think is HRA. I mean, my opinion. I looked into Harley Quinn, and just seeing what I see out of Harley Quinn combinations, it looks het red Xanthic to me.
Gotcha.
I'm new and I'm dumb and I don't know shit, so don't take that. Don't go around saying het red is Harley Quinn. My opinion.
Well, one thing that was surprising to me is I met a guy local to me who's somewhat new too, and although we're not partners, but me and him have talked about, well, I'll invest in this and you invest in that, and then we'll do a sharing program, and I think that's going to help me out tremendously, and him as well. And I think that's a good idea.
All right. But you was talking about clown and pies. I don't think that is a bad route to go, because sooner or later you're gonna want to put them together and make clown pies. And I went to this little podunk rinky-dink show, and what was it called? I picked up a snake there this weekend. Williamsport, Maryland. There was maybe 20 breeders there, but I'm busy this weekend and I can't go to Gettysburg. He's going to be there as well. So he said he was going to be at this show. So it was actually closer to Gettysburg than me. It was only like a 2-hour and 15-minute drive. And there was a guy down there that was deaf. I can't remember the name of his company, but he had like 5 or 6 clown pies there. Now, I don't think he sold much because he had a lot of high-end looking stuff.
Right.
And I tell you what, if I can make clown pies look like that, I'm going to be in love every time that I'm cut one of them eggs, because them things were stunning.
Yeah, they're striking. I think they're totally unique.
Stunning. Like, you couldn't look at anything else on his table because of the 4 clown pies that he had sitting up top just stole the show.
Right.
I mean, like,
offhand, do you remember what they were going for?
They had like 4 or 5 codoms in them each, so they was like $3,000. He was asking $3-4 grand for them. Yeah. It wasn't just like a pastel. It was like an OD pinstripe, something. I know they had OD and pinstripe. I can't remember what else it had in it. Maybe yellow belly. But the one he wanted 35 for was, it was for, I think it was a pinstripe OD yellow belly pastel, maybe. I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
But anyways, they were just stunning. They just, wow.
Yeah.
So I have a clown pied clutch this year, and I'm hoping, well, actually, they're clown pied labs. I have a triple het clutch. I hope that thing goes and gives me odds like that other guy just had on Instagram. Did you see those pictures on quad
I
heads?
did. Yeah, I did see that. That's
I
crazy.
can't remember that guy's name, but I mean, he deserves a shout out to any podcaster there is, because that was,
Unbelievable odds.
yeah, he's got a horseshoe up his butt. I get lucky sometimes,
Right.
but that guy's definitely got a couple.
You got that right.
Yeah, like I don't think there was a normal in his clutch.
No, I don't
Everything
believe
was
it.
at least a visual something.
Right. Yep.
It was crazy. Okay, so all right, if you could have dinner with 6 people, 3 could be dead and 3 alive, who would they be?
Well, I would probably want to have, as far as the dead, would be my dad and my 2 grandfathers, on each side.
Nice.
Now that I'm older, there's things I would love to talk to them about.
Right.
And as far as alive, gosh, man, I don't know. That's a hard one. I could care less about eating dinner with the presidents, any of them. I mean, to be honest
Any
with
of
you.
them, yeah. I'm
Yeah,
not too political.
yeah. I don't really know about that, the live one. I'm gonna pass on that one. I have no idea, man.
All right. Yes. But hey, at least you gave 3 dead. That's cool.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean, that would be really cool to have, just thinking about it, a dinner with my dad and my 2 grandfathers, because my 2 grandfathers I never really met.
yeah,
I mean, so that would be a pretty cool dinner,
yeah.
I will say. All right. So, what is one thing you would like to go back and tell your 18-year-old self?
Um, gosh,
We got you on your toes.
say that again.
We got you on your toes.
Yeah. That one, I would just say persevere, man. Stick it through. I mean, just keep on getting down with it. That's one thing I was lucky about my father. He definitely instilled in me forging through and just continuing with whatever it is you're going to do. Because since I was 18, I've only had 3 jobs, and this last job is, well, I'm self-employed. And I've been self-employed for over 20 years, and I love it. And just go for your dream. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
All right.
I would tell anybody that nowadays. And for some reason nowadays, kids, they get offended so easily about their job, and they don't stick it out. They just don't stick
Right.
with it.
I get that. They want to walk away too quick. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Would you rather know the future so you could change it, or be able to go back and tell your 18-year-old self that?
I would not want to know the future personally. I would definitely, if I could go back to my 18-year-old and give some ideas about investing, I would definitely do that.
All right.
But I was thinking about that question, and I don't know about you, but I would not want to go back at 18 and start over. Even if I knew everything I know now, I don't want to do it. I'm happy right where I'm at. I don't want to go back and do it over.
Huh. I don't know. It'd be interesting. I tell you what, I would be
You wouldn't
in a
think about
far
your
different
daughters.
place than I am right now.
Yeah, but your daughters, you wouldn't have your daughters.
Yeah, like, see, like, if you go that route, I couldn't.
Yeah.
Because, like, you would have to do everything exactly right to end up with the same result.
Right.
Like,
Right.
I would probably end up trying to, kill myself trying to get my kids back. Like,
Right.
like the ones in this life. Like, yeah. So going back, it would probably be out of the question.
Yeah.
Maybe go back to the birth of Kira is where I would start.
Yeah.
My youngest.
Yeah. And there's probably things you would have changed, about how you, and I'm not saying this had any, I don't know your personal life whatsoever, but I'm sure there's people you wished you had treated better or worse or
Right.
whatever. You know what I'm saying? There's
Yeah.
all kinds of crap like that I wish I could have done differently. But as far as going back and starting over, no way, man. These
I
were
wouldn't
hard
mind peeking into the future and seeing a couple things and being in a position to maybe change some of them. I mean, that might be a decent idea, but
Right.
they're just questions. They don't mean nothing.
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, so what is the best tip that you could give a new breeder?
Well, again, this may bruise some feelings, but if you can just invest in quality stuff. You know, try to don't change the world by buying a bunch of, you know, just anything. I mean, I've heard a story. I mean, even Keys, Terrence will tell you that when he first got into this, he bought a crap load of males. He had tons of males,
Right.
and they were all beautiful, but he was like, darn, I better get some females here. You know what I'm saying? So I would definitely, and luckily I paid attention to what he said, and I didn't do that. I right now I've got 19 females and 5 males. Okay. Well, my point is that I was very cautious about buying males.
Right.
But yeah, that's what I would tell somebody, a new breeder. You know, think about what you're doing and don't buy just because it's pretty. And you know, there's a lot of things too that I'm sure you've seen where they're beautiful when they're babies, but as they get older, they ain't hitting on much.
Right. Yeah.
But,
I mean, that's definitely went into my thought process as in this last year between buying snakes and seeing combos. It's like, I want to see that snake in an adult form before I want to create it. Because if it's a browned out turd, I don't want to make that.
right.
Yeah. But then again, that goes with, I feel, with getting certain lines, because I mean, we could be pertaining to a pastel clown. We might not be, but we could be pertaining to how pastel clowns look like dog shit when they get to be an adult.
Right.
But you see that few lines of pastel out there that they don't look like browned out turds. They're still yellow. They still got some pop. So
wait, let me ask you this. Can I go get one of mine right now real quick and
yeah,
show you?
for sure. 100%.
This is 1 year old and I'll be right back.
What's up, Jeremy? Thanks for coming in. Straight blast. I can't remember if I said what's up to you. How are you doing? We got to get you guys back on here. Our episode was like crappy because of the internet.
All right, I'm back. Now, this is 1 year old, and this is my leopard pastel clown. And I mean, it looks great as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, that's not bad looking.
I mean, you know, it's not browned out. I mean, it's not as yellow as it was when I first got it, but you know, I guess what I'm saying is I'm happy with it. And
right.
You see a lot of people where they'll say, "Oh, pastel, you know,
Will
gosh,
do.
they get rid of them because they're no good." You know, people are sick of them, but I don't believe that at all. But yeah, he is clean as a whistle. Nice, continuous right down his back.
He's nice.
But anyway, that was all I wanted to show you there.
All right. Thanks for the view. But like I said, that all goes with the line of pastel. If you have a decent line, then it don't brown out.
Right.
Kurtwood, thanks for coming in, bud.
Yeah, that's another King of the Mountain winner right there.
Yep. I think everyone else has been here.
Finley as well.
All right. So if there was one thing that you've learned or seen in this hobby that you can get people that don't like reptiles to realize about our pets, what would it be?
I would definitely say they need to, if they could just get past the barrier of not wanting to touch it and hold it. Granted, you know, I would not recommend a green tree or green tree python, you know, for your first snake.
Right.
And I don't have one either. But I think if they would just take the time, my mom was scared to death of snakes, and she's 80, and she has finally gotten to where she'll hold a snake, and she feels
not
fine.
my mom.
Yeah.
Nope.
Your mom, it won't hold one.
She won't even come out my house because she knows I have them here. She is deathly afraid of snakes. Like, she has a fear. Like, she sees one, she runs. She almost has a heart attack. But
oh wow, yeah.
But
yeah,
like, yeah.
If they would just take the time to take a look at them and hold them and just see how they are, that it would change their, or at least get them to where they're more used to the idea.
Hey, Holly, thanks for coming in. Yeah, exactly. I myself, myself included in this, like a year ago before I started this, I was kind of scared of snakes. You wouldn't
Right.
see me picking them up, touching them, or anything like that. But when I seen them videos, it was just like, you know what? I'm going to face a fear. I'm going to try
Right.
this. I'm going to face this motherfucking fear.
Right.
And I'm that guy. If I get my mind on something, I grab it by the wool, the horns, and I'm the one that goes through its ass to get to his horns because I'm
Right.
going. I'm
Right.
going. You know what I mean? And it kind of scared my daughter away a little bit because she wanted 2 or 3 and I got 20 pretty fast.
Right.
But now that she sees they can be maintained, she's wanting to handle them and take more part in it. So it's going pretty good. Like, regardless what happens, this has been a win-win for me because
Exactly.
like me and my daughter bond over it. Like, it's just a great experience.
Yeah, I was
It's
going to say, even myself, when I started getting mine, even when they were like 600 grams and they're sitting there waiting for that rat or that little mouse, I'm like, oh my gosh, what if he bites me? I mean, that's how stupid it was. But I say stupid, but it's just something we all go through. And then once you get tagged a few times, you totally realize it is nothing, nothing to it. Now, I don't want to get bit by a boa constrictor. I'll tell you that. I mean, I
well,
haven't so far.
yeah, I haven't even been bit by a ball python yet. I've been pretty cautious about it, and it's not like I just don't take chances with them.
Right.
They totally tell you when they want to be picked up or not. If they
Right.
don't want to be messed with, they will let you know, like in a heartbeat. Don't touch me. And if you could read body language, you could take care of a snake, in my opinion.
I
They're
believe
not
that.
that hard. All right. So the last question I got here for you is, what is something about this hobby that just grinds your gears?
Uh, well, I guess so far I have not experienced this, and I don't want to experience it. But I have seen cases where there's hate
Yeah.
between certain groups. I don't understand it. Again, you and I were talking, and I'm this guy. I'm just focusing on what's
Stay in your
ahead of
lane.
me. I don't get into what he said, she said stuff. I try not to. And so far, it's worked out good. And I, I treat, there's all kinds of classes of people out there, and I treat everybody the same. I don't care where you come from,
Exactly.
what color your skin is, or what your sexual preference is. I don't care anything about anything. I just want to have a good time and meet good people. And if I can sell you a snake or I buy a snake from you, then that's more power to it. I'm fine with it.
All right. Like in high school, I was the football player that smoked weed with the stoners and played magic with the dorks. You know what I mean? Like I just get along with everybody.
Right.
It's like I didn't do that. Well, he's not popular, so I can't be his friend no more. Like in elementary, everybody was friends, and I don't know. I've always been able to see through cultural differences or style differences, and just be friendly. Don't be a dick.
Right.
And there's just certain people out there that I feel that like to poke the bear, and whether they're doing it to really cause a negative reaction or just a reaction in general, they're still poking the bear, and
Right.
that's not never a good scenario where you're poking a bear. Just don't do it.
Yeah. And another thing,
What's up, dude?
I hope that I'm old enough to see this. And again, I don't want to offend anybody, but what people don't realize is, like, I love guns. There's a lot of people that hate
Right?
guns. The thing that people don't realize is that today it's the guns they don't like. Tomorrow it's going to be your snakes they don't want you to have. And then next year it's going to be something else that you want. They're going to take that away from you too. People got to realize that 40 years ago, as long as you weren't, hurting anybody, you know what I'm saying? And some people say, well, with guns are hurting people. A gun
That
doesn't
gun
hurt
can't pull the trigger
anybody.
itself.
Yeah, the gun can sit here all day. It's the people. We have totally given up on the mental aspect of people today, and they need to start looking into stuff like that. But again, if I can take care of a 8-foot alligator in my yard and I am responsible for it, and I've got it, housed correctly so that it
Right?
cannot get out, then by God, I feel like, if I want to raise an alligator or a retic or whatever it is, then I should be able to do that.
Right. So that's one of the things that I was going to talk about that you said you didn't really look into. But
yeah, I don't know much about retics, but if you
yeah,
want to have one, I'm all for you have one as long as you're responsible.
right. But a prominent player in our community released a statement saying that retics aren't for everybody, and I totally agree with it. Like me having a retic is not a good idea. That thing's gonna get big. I'm not gonna be able to handle it, and it's gonna choke me out. It's gonna kill me. Like,
Right.
I don't have anyone here to help me with it. Like, yeah, my daughter helps, but then things start hissing or striking, she's running. You know what I mean? And so, in a sense of like, if you don't have more than one person to help you with this, to control a snake, then I don't think that you should have a retic. I don't think retics are one person friendly. Now, maybe you can. Maybe
Right.
a certain person has enough experience with them to do it. And maybe I could get there one day, but I'm going to need that work. I'm going to need that time. I'm going to need that experience to want a retic.
Right. And the cool thing about what you're saying is you realize your possible shortfalls. You don't want to, it's not for you. However, if you chose to learn it, you may feel differently, but you're not crushing someone else's spirit by saying you don't deserve one either. That's crazy.
No, if you have the experience, by all means, like, yes, like anyone can have a retic if you have the experience to do so. But is a retic for the first time buyer that's never owned a snake before? No, I don't think a retic is a good idea. I don't think a berm is a good idea for someone that's never had a snake before.
Right.
And yeah, like that's just it in a nutshell. I mean, if you have the know-how to do it, then by all means, sure, get as many as you want.
Right.
But for me, I just started into this. There's no way that I'm going out to buy a retic and a berm.
Exactly. Yeah.
What's up, Cole?
And that makes sense to me. And again, I got that boa constrictor mainly as I think they're beautiful animals, but also he takes care of my rats. Sometimes when they get too big, and I take him out. I know this sounds crazy, but whenever we cook out on the grill, I'll pull him out, put him in the yard, and while I'm cooking, he's crawling around. When the steaks are done, I put him back up and go back in the house. He's happy and I'm happy.
I mean, that's
but
a big.
I don't want to get a berm.
That's too big for me. I'm happy with the ball pythons. Like boas, anything bigger than a ball python right now, just I'm not comfortable with, and that's my opinion. So I went out. I mean, now like a pine snake or a king snake or a corn snake or hog noses. Yeah, like I could do them, but anything bigger than a ball python right now, like stronger, fatter wise, I'm not comfortable with. Maybe 5 years from now, when I have enough experience, I'll get a bigger breed snake. But I think people need to realize that they just can't go right to this, big, powerful, strong creature that they don't really understand.
Right.
I feel the same way with venomous. Like, no, I'm not going to go out and buy a hot snake because I have, I'm okay at reading their body languages, and I could go get a hook and maybe not get bit, but it's just like, I feel people to own a venomous should have to go take some kind of safety course, even if it's a bullshit course.
Right.
I mean, I could go out to these reptile shows and come home with a gaboon.
Right.
Like, I could just go buy a freaking gaboon viper right off a table.
Right.
And that's just not a good look. I mean, I don't. And if there's that going on, you should definitely broadcast it.
Right. Yeah. And then the guy I actually bought this boa constrictor from had a gaboon viper, and he was like 27 years old, and he was very responsible. I mean, don't get me wrong, age doesn't mean you're not responsible, but I mean, he had it down pat, man. He had had it for 8 years, and so far no problems. And down here where I'm at, they required him to have his own what do you call it, antivenom for whatever snake he had. He had to purchase his own antivenom.
Yeah,
They were
right.
stocking at the local hospital, and he was willing to do that though.
Yeah, like exactly. If you're going to buy this exotic, black mamba or whatever, you know what I mean, you should be able to go out and purchase the venom and keep it on stock, or the anti venom actually, and keep
Right,
it in stock somewhere. I mean, you're saving yourself, because there's no way they're going to be able to save you if they don't have it.
right, exactly.
All right, so we got about 10 minutes left. I got a couple quickie questions, and then we got a couple minutes to just shoot shit about whatever. But
All right.
quickie questions basically are just pretty easy ones. But Coke or Pepsi?
Pepsi.
Me too. I have Coke right now, but usually I'm a Pepsi person. I drink a cherry Coke every once in a while, but I won't drink regular Coke.
Yeah.
BK or McDonald's?
I like BK.
All right. Skydiving or no way?
Yeah, I don't think so, man. I mean, I don't think so. Yeah.
Just
I just watched a movie called The Upside, where the guy gets in a skydiving accident and he's paralyzed from his neck down, and that don't look fun.
I mean, I did it in the military, so it was fun, and I think I'd do it again.
Yeah. You parachuted though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the first one, you was hooked up to a line. You had no choice. Once that jump master pulled that button, it was a mechanical fed line that you was hooked to, that you went right out that door and your parachute popped out. You had no choice. You was going. Me, I was sitting there with my feet up like, woohoo, let's go, come on.
Yeah.
I got yelled at, of course. It was fun, and I made it fun, but
yeah,
I'd do it again. All right, so this next question, I kind of want to know, how far in depth would you go if you lost a $20,000 snake in your house? How far would you rip things up to find it?
Gosh, man. Well, if I could afford a $20,000 snake, I'd probably go pretty far.
All right, well, say if you made it, right? You don't necessarily got the money. You made this thing, and this thing got out and disappeared in your house. I'd rip this place would be tore apart and half-ass put back together. Like, I would rip, tear, like walls would be down, insulation would be out. I would be.
Yeah, I would go. I would definitely tear up some stuff. I mean, luckily in my room, the way it's made and set up, there's only so far he can go, and that, believe it or not, but that daggone boa constrictor got out one time. I'm talking fast got out. And daggone if he didn't climb right up into the ceiling and get in the insulation. And the crazy thing about him was, if I pull him out of his box, he's got a big, like 4 foot by 4 foot cage, glass box.
Right.
Fine. But that day I pulled him out of that insulation, his mouth was open and he was going to bite me just as sure as crap. It was like, hey, I got out and I'm on my own and I'm getting ready to tag you. But luckily he didn't bite me. But yeah, I would tear up a lot of stuff to get a $20,000 snake back.
Yeah, I would tear up a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Okay, so the last quickie question is, what is one game show, like at any period of time, that you would have just loved to go on?
I don't know if I know you would remember it, but you remember the dating game?
Yeah.
I would go on that. I think that was funny as heck, man.
You sure your wife would agree with that?
That was funny.
Yeah, it was a funny show.
No, I'm sorry, the Newlywed Game. The Newlywed Game. That's the one I'm talking about.
Right.
Remember?
Yeah, the Newlywed with you and your wife there.
Yeah. That's the one I meant. Yeah.
All right. Newlywed Game. That was pretty good.
Yeah.
No one's ever said that one. That's good.
Yeah. Well, got to be something different.
Yeah. We got about 5 minutes left. Is there anything else you want to shout out there to the viewers? Check out on Instagram, maybe throw out your platforms or whatever.
Well, I will say this, for those who may or may not know, but like I said, last year was my first year and I'm learning the ropes. And so this year I delayed breeding because I didn't want to have an overabundance of babies. And so I should start having my first clutch of eggs in about 2 weeks. And this year I'm breeding 8 I think 8's a good number for me. You know, if they
Right.
all come out. And so some of you may be saying, well, gosh, I haven't seen you post much on Instagram lately. And it's only because I've been so invested in this King of the Hill, King of the Mountain contest that I really haven't posted a lot of my snakes, but I'm hoping to be showing some babies soon. So,
Right.
you know, I will definitely have some stuff available, you know, probably in the next 4 months.
So you said your first year you had 9 out of 10 go?
No, I had 8 out of 9.
Oh, 8 out of 9. All right.
Yeah.
So
And I was going to
that's
tell you, you know, I told you about that. I don't know if you can see this. That's what I sold right there.
wow.
Yeah, that's the first year. And that's I don't know if, anyway, but you see that's 14,000.
That says 14,000 people.
Yeah,
So people say that the market's dead. There's living proof that it's not.
Yeah, and what that was a lot of inchy pie. I mean, I'm sorry, spot nose clown, spot nose inchy clown. Man, I had a spot nose that or the clown female laid 10 eggs, and of them, all of them were spot nose. That blew my mind. I mean, talk about odds.
Could be a super. I mean, could be a super.
Well, the thing was the other clutch that I laid was with a regular clown. I only had 7 out of 9 that were spot nose. So
Wow.
yeah, it wasn't a super, but that was good odds.
Good odds.
Yeah, and just
send that horseshoe up this way.
Yeah, I had quite a few pies that I sold, and so that was good.
All right. I don't think the market dead. Wait, what did I do? Why ain't that highlight? I'm trying to highlight. Yeah, there you go. It says the market being dead, maybe down a little, but the numbers don't lie. And I think what happened is just an abundance of stuff got put out there. Like, look how much sold from this year to or last year to this year. Numbers are probably around the same on what's selling. There's just more out there, more competition, more people doing it. And that's why the market's flooded a little bit. There's not enough people to buy them all, per se.
Right. Yeah, I believe that. Plus, I'm a firm believer in you got to take good pictures and you got to, you know, represent yourself well. And if there's a problem, you need to jump right on it and take care of it quickly so that there's no issues. I mean, I'm sure this guy's not watching, but I had a guy who bought a snake from me and had it 6 months and came back and said, it's not eating well. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? He goes, well, it's only ate 3 times in 6 months. I was like, what? There's no way that 3 times in 6 months. And then once he pulled his records out, he over exaggerated it a little bit, but finally he got it straightened out. But my point is, you know, 6 months later, I don't know what
did he really expect?
I don't know, man, but I showed him. I had the same snake because I kept 2 of the holdbacks, and I was like, "This is mine," and it's already at almost 600 grams. And he goes, "Well, this isn't a competition." And I'm like, "Well, I realize it's not a competition. I'm just trying to say that mine is eating regularly, and something's going on with yours, and it's not eating regularly. And I don't know what that is. I don't think it's the snake per se."
Well, you got to put into, you know, the fact, how did you keep him to how did he keep him?
Exactly.
You know,
yeah.
What is he being kept in? Is he being in a rack or is he in an aquarium? Because if he's in an aquarium, I'll tell you right now, they're not going to eat as good as they would in a rack.
No. And you know what's so sad is, I'm sure you get this too every once in a while. Occasionally I'll get someone say, "You're cruel, you're putting them in a rack, and you know, they need to be out," and all this stuff like that. And I'm like, you know what? I just don't see it that way, especially knowing how they're raised over in Africa, you know, in termite mounds with feces and everything else all around them. I mean, they got it made. They're eating every time they want, and they got sex every day if they want it. I mean, you know what I'm saying? And they're clean. They're clean as a whistle.
Yep, I clean mine once a week. I mean, if I see poop, I pick it up. If they dump their water bowl, they get, you know, fresh paper. I mean, they get taken care of. I just don't want to get too big to where I can't be that diligent.
Exactly. That's exactly right. And see, you know, we were talking too about breeding ideas and this, that, and the other. I would love to be a JKR, but it ain't going to happen. I mean, it's just not going to happen. And so if I can do quality pods and clowns, I know that sounds like the old game, but you know, there's a lot of nice stuff out there, a lot of nice stuff. And I truly believe that who knows what it's going to be like 20 years from now. And it's my understanding the ball python is the #1 selling reptile in North America. So, you know, it's
You
wide open.
you say that you think that's an old man's game, pies and clowns, but there are many, 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 many clown combos that haven't been done.
I believe it. Yeah.
There is just like as much clown as out there. We're just at the tip of the iceberg with clown.
I believe
I mean, for instance, have you ever seen a purple passion clown?
No, I haven't.
I haven't.
No.
I haven't seen one. I've seen some phantom clowns, but no one's put phantom Mojave together in a clown. And that's a very simple combination. I mean, we're just now starting to get to highway clown combos.
Exactly.
You know, but Chip, we're at an hour. I don't like to keep it long past an hour because someday I might want you back on. And if I keep you up all night, you're going to be like, screw that dude. Yeah. I'm not going back on his show.
Well, I definitely appreciate you inviting me on your show. And I'm so glad that you were on my show when I did the King of the Mountain. And I'm glad you won. You're a top-notch competitor without a doubt. But I definitely appreciate you asking me on your show.
Heck yeah. Everybody out there in the chat, thanks for sticking around. We've been at close to 15 all night. So that's awesome. Chip, you've been a great guest. I mean, I'd love to have you back sometime, you know, in a year or so, something like that. Love to see you still around. Love to have you back on.
I would definitely appreciate it. If you ever do any group things, give me a holler and I would love to be on.
I have, you know, just like when someone cancels or something, I'll let you know because, you know, some people cancel here and there. And then it's just like, boom. Like, well, last week, Juan from Windy City Morris went out and played a softball game that day and got hit in the face with a softball. His lip was all swollen up and he's missing some teeth. And he like called me. He's like, I'm not lying to you, brother. Like, I really got hit. I'm like, dude, no, you're cool. You're cool, man. Right. So, you know, stuff happens, you know, to where it's just like a pop-up live. And I usually do a live, like, you know, an open live every month, like one a month. So, yeah, I'll start letting you know. Cool. Awesome. You're welcome back anytime.
Well, I sure appreciate it. And again, thank you for having me on.
Right on. Chat. See y'all later. Thanks for sticking around. Till next week.